So when we do kirtan, ideally, the person who is leading the kirtan sings once and the audience will hear. And then the audience tries to repeat and the speaker or the lead or the person who is leading will hear. So it's alternate. When the leader sings, the audience hears. When the audience sings, the leader hears. Generally, first the leader will sing, the audience will hear, then the audience will repeat, the leader will hear. This is called as Shravanam and Kirtanam. When we do kirtan, when we sing, kirtan is basically glorifying the Supreme Lord. Praising, appreciating God. That is called kirtan. When many devotees do it together, when many souls get together and try to do it together, it becomes Sankirtan. Sankirtan is more powerful than kirtan. Imagine you are standing outside of a building and you are shouting someone's name. And that person lives, let's say, in the 10th floor. The chances that they will hear you will be less. But if 100 people get together and shout out that person's name, definitely they'll hear. So when a single person does kirtan, it's called as kirtan. But when many people get together, it becomes more powerful. Therefore, it's called Sankirtan. So we'll try to do some Sankirtan now. Sankirtan is very powerful because it helps us to. So see, this is the life lessons from Vedic scriptures. The title of this session series is Life Lessons from Vedic Scriptures. So Vedic scriptures talk about leading a spiritual life. Like some of you have come to explore spirituality. And spiritual life comes with piety. You cannot be sinful as well as spiritual at the same time. Is it possible to be spiritual after drinking 2 bottles? It's not possible. Is it possible to be spiritual if you keep going and working with the prostitutes? Is it possible? Is it possible to be spiritual by, if you are a gambler, rummy, fummy, what is going on the internet these days? Is it possible to be spiritual? No. So it's not possible to be spiritual as well as sinful at the same time. The Vedic scriptures, they talk about various atonements or prayaschit, which one can do to counteract the sinful reactions which will come as a result of the sins which one has done either in this lifetime or previous lifetimes. But is there a way in which, see, it's possible to counteract the sinful reactions. But is it possible to remove the tendency to do sins only? Suppose somebody has done a sin and they have decided, I've done a sin, now let me go and have a bath in Ganges or let me serve some cow somewhere or something. But that will give some discount on the reaction of the sinful activity which you have performed. But how to get rid of the desire to do sinful activity? Can that go away by prayaschit? Yes or no? No, it cannot be going. Otherwise, we see all these people, they come, they confess their sins, and then they do some prayaschit, and then they again go and do the same thing in the next week from Monday to Friday. Then again Saturday they'll come, whether it's a temple or a church, they'll go and confess, my dear XYZ, I've done this, please forgive me. Here is this atonement. But when you do Sankirtan, and when you clap your hands during Sankirtan, if possible, dance also. Just like when you go in a field, there are many birds sitting in a field trying to eat the grains. But if you clap, what happens? The birds will fly away and your crop is safe. So similarly, the birds of sinful reactions and the birds of tendency to do sins, which are sitting on our mind, body, and intelligence, they fly away when we clap our hands and sing the holy names of the Lord. Okay? Does it make sense? So first I'll sing, you'll hear. Then you'll sing, I'll hear. Okay? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Girijana Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braj Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braj Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Madhav Shri Radhe. Radha Madhav Shri Radhe. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की. So welcome to life lessons from Vedic scriptures. My name is Acyuta Arjunasakha Das. I'm very happy to meet you again. Today, the topic for today's session is a very unique topic, which I think is relevant for most of us. How to deal with seniors and juniors. Do you think this is a very relevant topic and it affects all of you? How many of you have problems in your relationship with your seniors? How many of you have problems in relationships with your juniors? And how many of you have problems in relationships with your equals? Problems are always there. So how to deal with these problems? There are various ways. One can say, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. But the Vedic scriptures give us the perfect guidance. The word Veda means knowledge. Everything which the human mind can conceive, think, or understand is there in the Vedas. So you do little crowd management. As soon as someone comes, try to come forward and sit so that people who come a little late, they can go behind and be comfortable. Come as close as possible. The closer you are, the better is, like I can hug all of you in between us. So you see, the Vedic literature, many people say, why should I read the Bhagavad Gita? Or why should I read the Vedic literature? Some space is there. After all, it is written by some human being. Correct? Is the Vedic literature written by a human being? Yes or no? How many say yes? Some Vedic literature written by humans. Some others are written by typewriter. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. The Vedic literatures, or the literatures which talk about our intrinsic characteristic duties, comes from the Supreme Lord himself. Actually, in the previous ages, how many yugas are there? Can someone name them? Raise your hand and say. Okay, yes. First your name and then the 4 yugas. Your name is Mayank Kumar. There's one more Mayank sitting here. Both of you should immediately become friends. Okay, yeah.
Satyug, Tretayug, Dwapar-yug, and now it's turning Kali-yug.
Kali-yug is a very nice yuga, right? So in Satyuga, Treta and Dwapar, there were no books. Nice life. Why were there no books?
That time,
Because the memory was so nice. People would hear once and remember it for the rest of their life. So this, and there is this cycle of 4 yugas. In one day of Brahma, there are 1000 cycles of 4 yugas. If you call 4 yugas as a Divya Yuga, Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, combination of 4 as a set is one Divya Yuga. There are 1000 Divya Yugas in one day of Brahma and 1000 Divya Yugas in one night of Brahma. And Brahma lives for 365 days in a year for 100 years. Quite a long time, right? So, these Vedic literatures, they are there since time eternity. But whenever Kali Yuga comes, people cannot remember anything. It's like the minds of the people are like a floppy disk, and the Vedic literature is like a hard disk of 1 terabyte. So what to do? So whatever the people can understand, there is an incarnation of God who is called as a specific category of incarnation called Saktya Avesh incarnation. What is the category? Saktya Avesh. So whenever the Supreme Lord invests his power in some living entity, that is called Sakyavesh. For example, King Prithu is the Sakyavesh incarnation of the administration capacity of the Lord. So when Supreme Lord, when Krishna comes and rules, that power was invested in Prithu. So when Prithu cannot play flute like Krishna, Prithu is not beautiful like Krishna, Prithu cannot, but when Prithu will rule as a ruler, he will be like Krishna. Why? Because Krishna gave that potency to one Jivatma. That is called Sakyavesh. So similarly, there is a literary Sakyavesh incarnation of the Lord whose name is Ved Vyas. He is a Jivatma. He is not God, but when he writes like God. Why? Because God has given him that potency. Okay. So Ved Vyas has written down the Vedic literature which was already existing in the previous ages. He has just compiled it. Now, do you think that the Vedas are written by human beings? Yes? No. The human being is not an ordinary human being. A human being is a human being when he has the tendency to commit mistakes, when his senses are in illusion, when he is having imperfect senses, and when he has the tendency to cheat. When these 4 defects are there in someone, then that person can be called as a human being. But Ved Vyas did not have these 4 defects. Why? Because he was a Sakyavesh incarnation of the Lord. So therefore, when Ved Vyas writes, he makes no mistakes. When Ved Vyas writes, there is no tendency to cheat. When Ved Vyas writes, his senses are not in illusion and he is not imperfect. So Ved Vyas writing is perfect writing. Correct? So Vedic literature is infallible. It is beyond the intelligence of the human beings. So therefore, in these sessions, we always say, we don't care what you think, and you should not care what I think. All of us should collectively care for what Bhagavad Gita says, what the Shastra says, what the Vedic literature says. So therefore, life lessons from Vedic scriptures. And today's topic is how to respond to seniors and juniors, how to deal with seniors and juniors. Instead of having a discussion, what you think, what you feel, what I believe, what according to me, in my opinion, we will take examples from the Vedic literature and we'll try to understand how to deal with seniors, juniors, and bonus we will get with equals also. But before I start this discussion, I would like to seek the blessings of my teachers who have taught me everything, because of whom I'm here today, trying to have a discussion with you. I would like to seek their blessings by chanting some auspicious invocations, which is called pranam mantras. Those who know, they can repeat with me. Those who don't, just try to close your eyes and hear it with utmost attention. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So those who are online, if you are able to hear me, can you give me some signal by saying yes in the chat box? Either you can say yes or okay. Thank you. So I'll give you a formula. It is coming from the 4th canto, chapter 8, shloka number 34 of a very great book called as Srimad Bhagavatam, commonly known as Bhagavad Puran. I found this formula so nice, and I'm still trying to apply it to the perfection in my life. And this entire session today is based on this one single verse, one single formula. Guna dhikan mudam lipsed anukrosham gunadhamat maitrim samanad anvichen natapair abhibhuyate. Wonderful formula. The Srimad Bhagavatam says every man should act like this. What? Gunadhikan mudam lipsed. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, then he should be very pleased. Whenever you meet a person more qualified than you should not become envious. You should become very pleased, very joyful, very happy. Anukrosham gunadhamat. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, then you should be very compassionate towards that person. Not that I have met someone less qualified, let me take full advantage of them, clean my shoe. Not like that. And when he meets someone equal to himself, maitrim samanad anvichet, then one should become friends with that person. So I'll repeat. When he meets, every man should act like this. This is the instruction of the Vedic literature, that when he meets a person more qualified than himself, then he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, then he should become compassionate towards that person. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. Now, the next line is very nice. Na tapair abhibhuyate. The Bhagavatam says, in this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. That means if somebody can practice this one single formula, then they will not face any problem in this world. It says threefold miseries you will not face. You know what are the threefold miseries? Have I told in one of the previous sessions? Does somebody remember? What are the three kinds of miseries which you face on a daily basis? First is adhyatmic, or miseries due to your own body and mind. Is someone's head paining right now? My head is paining. Your leg is paining. Somebody's ear is paining. Somebody's eye is paining. Okay. So these are the miseries which you face. Is it a misery? These are the miseries which you face because of your own body and mind. Adhyatmic. Klesh. Another misery is adi bhautik klesh. Miseries which you face because of others. Is that common? Do we need to discuss that? That's why we are having this session, how to respond to seniors and juniors. The seniors and juniors have the real problems in life. Huh? And then the third category of misery is adi daivik miseries. The miseries which you face because of rain, tsunami, earthquake, corona. So the Bhagavatam says if somebody can follow these 3 points, Gunadhikan Mudam Lisset, Anukrosham Gunadhamat, Maitrim Samanad Anvichet. When you meet your senior, somebody more qualified than you, you become happy, not envious. When you meet someone who is less qualified than you, you become compassionate and not exploitative. And when you meet someone who is equal to you in qualification, you become friends with that person and not try to pull him down or artificially become competitive with him. And if you can follow this, then you will not be affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. How many of you feel very happy after hearing this? Please raise your hands. You're not fully happy?
Not to me, it's very difficult to understand others. Like we can apply, but same thing won't come from the.
See, it's not so difficult also. It's not so difficult. We are talking about Bhagavad Gita. Let's say I'm sitting in front of you. Do you believe that I know more than you?
Yeah.
Then you should become happy to meet me.
Yeah.
Correct. Similarly, when you meet a dog outside, does the dog know Bhagavad Gita? So you should become compassionate on the dog. But when you meet the person sitting next to you, may know equal, become friends. It's not very difficult. You have to start from somewhere. Of course, we cannot be an expert judge. We are not judged. We are not here to judge everybody. Is he greater than me? Is he lesser than me? This is not life. But in general, when we meet, we get some understanding. And over a period of time, our understanding will improve. So we should follow this. So, another very nice statement which I found, I'll repeat it to you, something for your notebook. It will be good if all of you can get notebooks. See, you people are lucky. Not everybody is lucky to attend these sessions. So when you take notes from here, and when you go and explain it to others, our job becomes easy. Because of rain and because of so many other things, not many of you are able to come to these sessions also. Imagine there would be some people who are trying to come here, but now rain has stopped them. So please take notes whenever possible. In your mobile also you can write. So listen to this point. Seniors who sensitively respect the autonomy of a junior and a junior who sensibly uses one's autonomy while respecting the senior makes an exemplary superior subordinate relationship. That means senior should respect the opinions, preferences of a junior. Sometimes those preferences are wrong. Doesn't mean that artificially I have to respect. So I'll explain you in the course of the session. But overall, even when the senior is trying to correct, they should have a respectful, accommodating attitude. Similarly, a junior, even if he's 100% sure, if some senior is intervening and giving some input, you should be happy to receive that input. When you have such kind of an attitude, then the senior-junior relationship bears results. Otherwise, it's always a problem. Now, as far as, see, I'm not going to discuss treating the equals because it's not so much of a problem. One golden principle I would like to give to you if you want to advance in life, whether it is spiritual life or material life. Spend 20% of your time with seniors. Spend 20% of your time with juniors. How much remains? Spend 60% of time with equals. Because your seniors are advanced. Is it very easy to be with advanced people? Not very easy. You may do something which might displease the senior, especially in spiritual life. Highly advanced spiritualists, they are like fire. And to go close to fire, you need to be like fire. Suppose you go to a very exalted person and you make some silly mistake. Suppose you're carrying water for a highly advanced devotee of Krishna. And you're talking, and then you drop some spit in the water. And then you give it's an offense, right? May happen. If you are not qualified, better to keep some distance. Similarly, if you go to your juniors, they will have a natural tendency. Arey, sir, you're so great. You are our everything. You are so nice. Only you are able to help us. Then what you will start feeling? Ego massage will happen. When you go in amongst your juniors, you're always in limelight. Look at me. I'm your savior. Here I come. And they will treat you also. See, it's not that they are doing some buttering on you. They feel like that. They may naturally be grateful to you. But is it good for your spiritual life to always be with juniors? Because they're constantly glorifying you. And then you'll start thinking the whole world is not able to understand me. My juniors are able to understand me. So then, if you have a lot of false ego, you will naturally spend more time with your juniors because they keep massaging. No, sir, yen sir, yen beku. All that will start. But if you stay with your peers or if you stay with your equals don't respect you so much. They'll give you comments. I don't like your face. They'll talk like this to you. That is good for our ego crushing. If seniors crush our ego, are we qualified to take it? It's very difficult. I'm telling from personal experience. When seniors decide to crush your ego, you need mercy of Krishna to be able to take it. When juniors decide to crush your ego, it's like poison. Imagine if a junior comes and tells you, you're useless. I'll look at him and say, you're useless. Otherwise, he'll say, all the comments are coming on me.
No.
If actually, according to the Vedic scriptures, if a junior offends you or if a junior passes some unpalatable remark upon you, it is like death. But if an equal does it, chalta hai. And we are friends. So therefore, one should take guidance from seniors, one should guide the juniors, but one should live with peers or equals. This is another principle which you learn. So, obedience is a basic principle when we are dealing with seniors as juniors, or whether we are juniors, or whether we are dealing with juniors, whatever. Obedience is a basic principle in any relationship to be a good relationship. Think of the example of Lord Ram. His father called him. He told him, tomorrow you are going to become the king of Ayodhya. But next day in the morning, he called him and he said, you're not going to be the king of Ayodhya. Instead, you are going to the forest for 2 weeks. Correct? Very good. You people know. Thank you. So you're going to I'm just checking whether you people are listening or not. So you have to go to the forest for 14 years and you have to give the kingdom to your brother. The Ramayana says that when Lord Ram heard this, his facial expression also didn't change. That is God. Are you God? When you will hear such news,
I won't go.
He's telling, I won't go only. I'll file a case on Dashrath. I'll drag him to the Supreme Court. Just see. So Lord Ram's facial expression also didn't change. See, people in Ayodhya, they used to love Ram like anything. If Lord Ram would have raised his finger like this and put on Dashrath, and he would have done like this, nothing much, he would have just done like this, people of Ayodhya would have removed Dashrath and put Lord Ram on the throne. But why are we talking about Lord Ram today? Because he was obedient. I'll tell you another story. Life lessons from Vedic scriptures means you should hear various histories of the past and learn from it. In the beginning of creation, the primary creator is Krishna or God. But the secondary creator is a demigod called Brahma. He is the first living entity who appears in this universe. Now, when Brahma was given the task of creating the various planetary systems, there were various souls ready to take body and come in the universe. So the first people who came in this universe were the 4 Kumaras. I don't know how many of you know them. They are the eldest people of this universe, but they look like 5-year-old children. Have you heard of them? Sanat, Sanatan, Sanak, and Sanak Kumar. 4 Kumaras. At that time, Lord Brahma ordered them that, okay, now you have appeared. Go get married, produce family, and progenate this universe. Increase the population of this universe. Those four Kumaras, they said, sorry, we don't want to get into this mess of family life. We know that the purpose of human life is to go back home, back to Godhead. We want to dedicate our life to the service of Krishna, God, Guru, and we want to have single focus on that. And then we want to just continue doing that. That's an opinion. In fact, that's one of the noble opinions. But who they were talking to? Brahma. So Brahma actually got angry for some time. The first creation, I ordered them. They said no. But Brahma ultimately respected the opinion of these four Kumaras. Because as a living entity, everybody has a right to their opinion. And what they are saying is not a crime, right? If somebody wants to remain a celibate, a brahmachari, and dedicate their life to the service of Guru and Krishna, is that a fault? No fault. So Brahma respected that opinion. So then he gave birth to, of course, the pastime continues that he was in anger, and from the middle of his eyebrow, Rudra or Lord Shiva appeared. And after that came a personality called as Manu. From Manu comes Manushya. So Manu is the father of all Manushyas. So Swayambhuva Manu was ordered that you create progeny, populate this universe. He accepted. He accepted. Okay. Now, in those days, the lifespan of people used to be very, very huge. The average lifespan of a person in Satyuga was 1 lakh years. And they were not like cats and dogs. Now, if you read the Vedic scriptures, if anybody wanted to produce a child, they would do tapasya first. Producing a child doesn't mean catch a woman and mate with her and produce some child. No. There has the consciousness of a male and the consciousness of a female, when they are uniting with each other, decides the consciousness of the child. Please understand this point. So they always believed in getting a blessing from the Lord and doing some tapasya, becoming qualified, and then producing children. The Swayambhuva Manu took the order of Lord Brahma to his heart and executed it nicely, and Lord Brahma blessed him with all his heart, saying that you are the perfect example of obedience. So these examples are very illustrious in the history which we learn. And the Bhagavatam says, the pleasure of parents or teachers with the behavior and attitude of their children or students acts as a great blessing upon them and empowers them to accomplish great things which are otherwise impossible. How many of you believe in the power of Ashirvad or blessing? But it should come from the right source. If you go to the traffic signal, the eunuch who comes and asks for money, doing like this, if you give them 10 rupees, they'll bless you. What is the value of that blessing? 0. No value. You have to take, see, you have to take money from a rich person. Now, you cannot take money from a beggar. So to give Ashirvad or to give blessing, one should have spiritual potency. What should you have? Spiritual potency. So only those people who have spiritual potency, Hare Krishna, will we get Tirupati Laddu? So some news, we'll get Tirupati Prasad today. Okay. So only those who have spiritual potency can bless others. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Oh my dear Arjuna, Kaunteya, you please declare boldly to the world that my devotee never perishes. What did Lord Krishna say? Can you all repeat? Once more. What does it mean? That my devotee will never be destroyed. Whose devotee? Why didn't Krishna tell it on his own? I declare that my devotees will never perish. Why did he say Arjuna to tell it? Because the words of a devotee of the Lord is more powerful than the words of the Lord. If Krishna says to the gopis, I will come back, don't worry. He may not come back also. But if a devotee of Krishna says, like Uddhava, that Krishna will come, and just to keep the words of his devotee, Krishna has to come. So devotees of Krishna, when they bless, it's very powerful. Very, very powerful. So, if we want blessings, then we have to be obedient. Suppose you want to bless someone, would you like to bless someone who is like constantly behind you and not listening to you? But if you see that someone is helping you in your mission and going out of his way to assist you, will not heartfelt blessings come out of your heart? This is called the process of knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, shloka number 34. Tad vidhi pranipatena. You can repeat with me. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Krishna says this is the process of knowledge. You can get data or information by reading something or browsing something, but knowledge means self-realized knowledge, which you can put into practice on a daily basis, cannot come out of study. What do you have to do? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Krishna says, first find a spiritual master. Go and surrender to him. Render menial service to that spiritual master. And then submissively ask questions and clarify your doubts. And when the spiritual master is pleased with you, when the spiritual master sees, here is a boy who's helping me. Here is a boy who's very sincere. Here is a boy who is doing all the services. And with pleasure, when his heart will become pleased, then the Tattvadarshi, because the spiritual master has seen the truth, so the knowledge of the absolute truth will get transferred from his heart to his heart. It's a heart-to-heart transfer and not a chalk and talk method. This is called the process of knowledge. And this is the ultimate truth. It is such a big truth that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, comes down on this planet Earth, he is the supreme spiritual master. He is the guru of all gurus. But then to set this principle as an example, even Krishna goes and accepts a guru and cleans his ashram, cuts wood for him, does menial services to him, surrenders to him, asks questions to him. And the spiritual master gets pleased and blesses Krishna. You know what blessing Krishna got from his spiritual master? Krishna pleased his spiritual master so nicely. Is there any need for him to please anybody? No need, right? But he did that. And his spiritual master, Sandipani Muni, blessed him that, my dear Krishna, whenever you will speak and whatever you will speak, everybody will listen to it, everybody will follow it, and for thousands of years, everybody will study it. Has it come true? Yes. That's called as the Bhagavad Gita. Tell me one book which you know, which was, or one conversation which you know, which was done 5,000 years ago. Tell me one person who lived 5,000 years. Don't say Krishna and Arjuna. Because of Krishna, we know everybody. Why do we know about the Kurukshetra war? Because Krishna was there. There were so many other wars happening. Do we know? No. So Krishna also pleased his spirit. So process of knowledge is find a bona fide spiritual master. Surrender to him. Serve him. Ask questions. Not in a challenging mood, but in a submissive mood, with respect, obedience. And when the spiritual master is pleased with you, then the Tattva Darshan, or the real absolute knowledge, will be transferred from his heart to your heart as a blessing, Ashirvad. This is called the process of knowledge. So therefore it is said, by satisfying great souls, one receives great success in life. And by dissatisfying great souls, one receives great failures in life. There are so many examples. Can you give me one example where one great soul was dissatisfied and as a result of which someone suffered so much? Sorry? For whom he got dissatisfied with and who suffered? Give me an example where someone dissatisfied a great personality and suffered greatly because of it.
God dissatisfied his will, due to which he had to become a pig in this world.
Yes. The spiritual master of Lord Indra, Brihaspati, gave him a garland which was offered to Lord Krishna. And Indra took that garland, smelled it, gave it to Airavat. Airavat smelled it, and then Airavat threw it down and trampled it. As a result of that offense, now the garland of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Prasad of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Dham of Krishna is not different from Krishna. The name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Your name is different from you. Your t-shirt is different from you. But Krishna's Angavastra is not different from Krishna. Because we are spirit souls having a material body. But Krishna is complete spiritual. So therefore his flute is also spiritual. His name is spiritual. His paraphernalia is spiritual. His house is spiritual. His devotees are spiritual. His garland is spiritual. So he mistreating the garland of Krishna was mistreating Krishna only. As a result of that, you're right. He was forced to become a pig. Can you imagine that? The ruler of the heavenly planetary systems had become a pig. There is more to that pastime, but it's out of the discussion. So that is one aspect. We have to, I told you the formula, the golden principle. And after that, I told you obedience is the basic principle of a relationship, especially between seniors and juniors. And when you please highly spiritually elevated people, you get blessings. And as a result of that blessing, you achieve great things in life, which was otherwise impossible. Now, next topic which I want to discuss is little touchy topic, interference with independence. When some senior comes and corrects us, it's like interference with whose independence? Junior's independence. So how many of you know Chanakya Pandit? He was a great devotee of Lord Krishna and he has given some principles. So one of the principles which he gives is Lalane bahavo doshas tadane bahavo gunaha tasmat putram cha shishyam cha tadayen natu lalayet. Chanakya Pandit says, pampering a subordinate will only increase his faults. There is a difference between appreciation and pampering. So Chanakya Pandit says, pampering a subordinate will only increase his faults and chastising him and correcting him will increase his good qualities. Do you agree? Chanakya Pandit is saying so. I agree only. Chanakya. So a teacher should chastise the student and a father should chastise a child and not pamper them unnecessarily. How many of you have got beatings from your father? Unlucky. You know, there is a kind of generation which is coming these days. If the father touches them, they call the police. There's a society like that. Do you think that society is a very nice society? Sorry? What society? Bad society. Yeah, it's bad society. When a junior understands that the senior's chastisement is a form of his love and concern, that junior becomes very fortunate. Do you agree with me? When a student understands that his teacher's chastisement is his love, that student progresses in life. Do you agree with me? When the devotee understands that whatever treatment God is giving to me is his love, then that devotee comes closer to God. Do you agree with me? This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. Even Krishna, see, if you have read the Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, Arjuna has given 4 reasons why he should not fight the battle. And in the second chapter, he gives another reason. Totally 5 reasons he gives. And Krishna is simply hearing. Okay. Like you are smiling, he was also smiling. But then, At one point of time in the second chapter, Arjuna sees that this is not working out. Krishna is hesitating to correct me because friendly relationship. So Arjuna says, Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. From now I am your disciple and you are my teacher. Please guide me. You know what next shloka, what Krishna says? Immediately Krishna, when he assumes the role of a spiritual master, he says, you're an idiot, my dear Arjuna. The first thing which he does is chastise. Chastisement is good. Why? Because we are spiritually so dull, we need chastisement. Do you agree? Without chastisement, where we'll go? Nowhere. So we need chastisement. So sometimes our independence should be interfered by our seniors, because we do not see everybody, there is something called as the anatomy of autonomy. Everybody likes to be autonomous. But first you should understand what is the nature of this autonomous. And first you should realize, are you qualified to be autonomous? Is everybody qualified and mature enough to work autonomously? That means you need guidance. So, should you be fortified when you get guidance, or should you be mortified? That's the next topic. Fortified or mortified? I like making such phrases. I don't know if it adds value to the class, but fortified or mortified? Question mark. As I was just preparing the notes for this class, I had some ideas, so I have just noted it down. I'll read something. You listen to it. A humble and intelligent subordinate feels fortified or protected by the caring interventions of a responsible senior who helps him with suggestions to improve. Thus, correcting the fault of a subordinate is good. But is it always necessary? Maybe not. Corrective actions sometimes could turn out to be dreadful when it diminishes the inspiration and enthusiasm of the subordinates to work further. So as a senior, you should always see that when I give corrections or feedback, I know that this person is doing wrong. I can see it. But the way in which I give, sometimes you should not always give corrections also. For example, my mother taught me how to drive a bicycle. So initially she was always correcting me, holding from behind, don't do this, don't do that. But if she would have always done that, would have I learned bicycle? So at one point she stopped correcting me. She let me go through and learn and explore and understand. So sometimes correction is not always necessary. And when we give corrections, we should give corrections in such a way so that the enthusiasm of the person whom we are giving correction should not get affected. Suppose if you correct someone, but after your correction, they are like, I will not work with this person anymore. Or I want a change of job. Or I don't want to do this seva. I came to the temple to serve Krishna, but these people, they asked me to sweep the floor. And when I started sweeping, they started telling, this is not there, that dust is there, this is there. I don't want to sweep. This can happen, right? So our correction as a senior to a junior should not spoil the enthusiasm of that junior. Do you think this is a very important point? And do you think everybody understands this in the world? Therefore, bad relationships. So fortified or mortified? A senior cannot always expect a junior to agree to the instructions. The senior should be willing to hear the subordinate's opinions and preferences. And if the subordinate has a genuine reason to not feel inspired from the senior, sir, I don't feel like following you. Okay, please resign and go. Should it work like this? Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told the entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and then you know what he said in the end? Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. He said that I've told you the entire Bhagavad Gita, now you do whatever you like. He didn't say, look at me, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm God, And I have been telling this Bhagavad Gita to you. The whole universe is listening. Now, my dear Arjuna, if you don't follow, so much criticism will happen. Nobody will listen to the Bhagavad Gita after that. No. Krishna didn't do that. So he accepted the opinion and preferences. Of course, after that, Arjuna followed. But if we are in a situation where our juniors do not feel inspired to follow us, then we should accommodate our juniors along with their preferences and opinions, and in a light way try to guide them, provided they want to take guidance from us. Guidance should never be forced. Please repeat with me. Guidance should never be forced. It should only be inspired. Respect should not be demanded, but only commanded. You should deserve and earn that respect. Okay? Now, sometimes as juniors, we may feel what seniors are trying to impose many things upon us. So as a senior, one has to go through that phase of imposition to inspiration. So how to correct? The senior should know. So again, I will bring in another verse of Chanakya Pandit. Whether a correction is good or bad, it depends on time, place, circumstance, and the person correcting and the person being corrected. So correction is an equation with 5 variables: time, place, circumstance, who is correcting and who is being corrected. So Chanakya Pandit has given a formula. He says, Lalayet panch varshani, dasa varshani tadayet, prapte tu sodase varse, putram mitravad acharit. Now Chanakya Pandit took the example of a son and he gave a very nice lesson. He said, just love the son and fondle the son until he's 5 years of age. And then be very strict with him for the next 10 years. That means until he has reached the age of 16. Very strict. 0 to 5, let them do whatever he wants. Play with him, fondle him, love him. But as soon as he reaches the age of 6, that means when he gets senses. 5, 6 years is the age when people start understanding, become bodily aware, and they don't pass stool and urine in the room. They go to toilet. That's the time. So when they become a little mature, from that time till the age of 16, parents should be very strict with the children. But once the child crosses the age of 16, the parent should become a friend. After 16, if you pick up the stick, the child will break forever. He'll lose faith in the father and the parent relationship. So after 16, just like a potter, when he's making the pot, when the pot is little kacha, that time he can hammer and shape it. But when it has become pakka, after that, if you hammer, what will happen? Break. So similarly, 6 to 16 is the time to correct. After that, become a friend. When the person becomes 16 years old, parents should start taking their opinion in taking decisions in the family also. My father did that actually. He used to ask me, should we go for this decision like that? So many things are there. He used to discuss with me. And when he used to discuss with me, I used to feel that I have to act a little responsibly now. Life is no longer a playground. So many people don't know how to become good parents also. They are disaster parents. Some parents believe that I should never even touch my child also. Only kiss, kiss, kiss. And their child will become a hippie. Some parents think that, why is he not listening to me? Yet yesterday, I think someone called me and asked me that in the last 2 years, my son has become a demon in the COVID time. And then that parent gave me a list of expectations. I want my son to be like this, like this, like this. He should do this, he should do this, he should not do this. Like full catalog was there. And then the parent asked me, how to do this? You're a counselor at ISKCON, tell me. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes a lot of patience. So, as seniors, we should know when to correct, when not to correct, how much to correct, how much and when to stop. The enthusiasm of a person should not break. It is said that first you should invest in a relationship so that you get the right to correct them. 0 to 5 years is the investment. So like when you have some senior, junior around, first you take care of them, guide, nourish them first. And when they become grateful to you, then you can correct them, then they can take it also. If they are not grateful to you, simply you are correcting, I am your manager. Follow me. That is a very bad situation, right? So therefore, the counteractions which we do should continue the interactions. Counteractions should continue interactions and not end relationship. As a senior, I can counteract my juniors, but that should further increase the interactions. Now I'm going to give you 2-3 examples by which you will understand this. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there are many demigods who are pious living entities who have been appointed as caretakers of various departments of this universe. But they are not equal to Krishna. The Brahma Samhita says, you can repeat with me. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna. Ishvara means controller. But the Brahma Samhita says, amongst all controllers, the most superior controller is Krishna. And he is Satchidananda Vigraha. Many people say God has no form. But the great demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Chandra, who have actually seen God, what they say? Satchidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means he has a form. And that form is eternal, full of knowledge, and completely blissful. Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda. What is the many people ask, who is the mother of God? How did God take birth? Who created God? If somebody creates God, then that person cannot be God. Because the definition of God is Anadir Adir Govinda. Somebody who has no beginning and no end. That is, in material world, we cannot think of that. Because in our experience, we have never seen something which has no beginning and has no end. Everything has a beginning and an end. So we put a limitation on God. But God means Anadir Adir, one who has no beginning and no end. And his name is Govinda. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Your cause is your father. Your father's cause is your grandfather. Your grandfather's cause is a monkey. A human being only, no? And there are some people who say that we have come from monkeys. Have you ever seen anybody's grandfather or great-grandfather as a monkey? There is a place in India, various places are there, but I remember of this. This is in Jharkhand, from Deoghar. Our Neeraj Prabhu is from Deoghar. It's a temple of Lord Shiva. They call it as Baba Dham. You go there, there are priests who are dealing with various parts of India. You go and say that I am coming from, let's say, Karnataka. So there will be a priest from Karnataka who's staying in Baba Dham from last 500 years, his family lineage. And they'll be noting down the names of all the people who have come from Karnataka and offered puja and all those things. So when you go there, they'll open a big register like this. And they'll say, before you, he came, he came, he came, he came. And you can actually see your lineage. And in that lineage, you can go back to thousands of years, but you'll not find a monkey anywhere as your ancestor. Don't believe the scientists. They don't know what they are saying. If monkeys were our ancestors, then all the monkeys should have been finished by now and only human beings should have been there. But still there are monkeys. Correct? If monkeys were our ancestors, at least one case we would have seen, no, this monkey gave birth to a human being. One case would have, has anybody seen of it also? But we believe it. So if I go to your father, his father, his father, his father, his father, his father, ultimately will reach Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So Krishna does counteractions which continue interactions. I'll give you the example. Lord Brahma, and there was a demon called Hiranyakashipu. How many of you have heard Hiranyakashipu? There is a photo of Narsimhadev in the altar. What is he known for? Killing Hiranyakashipu. There is a very nice verse. You can just listen to it. Tava kara kamal vare nakham adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanu bhringam keshavadhrita narahari rupa keshavadhrita narahari rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. This is the glorification of Narsimhadev. It is said, Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam. Please try to understand what is God. This prayer says, Tavakara Kamala Vare. Your hands, Kara, it's like lotus, as soft as lotus. Kamala Vare. How if I hit you with a lotus, what you'll feel? You'll feel so nice. Please hit me here also. So God's hands are like lotus. But with that hands, what he did? Nakham adbhuta shringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu tanubhrim. So Hiranyakashipu's chest was ripped apart by the lotus-like hands of Krishna. Beyond understanding, right? That is God. With his lotus-like hands, he ripped apart the stone-like chest of Hiranyakashipu. And how he did that? Just like you crush a fly, Narsimhadev didn't try very hard. No, he just finished it. Just like you kill a small insect like this, no. Like that, he killed Hiranyakashipu. Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa. Who is Keshava? Krishna. Krishna assumed the form of Narsimhadev. Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. So, Hiranyakashipu had taken a boon from Brahma. Can someone tell me what was that boon?
Not be killed by either human or animal. He won't be killed outside house or inside. Yes. He won't be killed in the sky or on the ground.
There are 10 more conditions.
He won't be killed in day or night. And
You're just missing 9 conditions more.
killed by aspirants.
He told already. So there are so many conditions which he put. Now, who is Krishna and who is Brahma? Brahma is produced by Krishna. But when Krishna comes as Narsimhadev and kills Hiranyakashipu, he did not violate any boon which Brahma gave. Imagine how Brahma will be feeling. He'll be touched, right? He is the CEO, he is the real boss. He can come and say, Arey, remove this. Who is Brahma? You come, I'll kill you. But Krishna is so sensitive that he wants to keep the word. Who is Brahma? A devotee of Krishna. And he wants to keep the word of his devotee. At the same time, counteract Brahma also. If you read the Bhagavatam, after killing Hiranyakashipu, Narsimhadev goes to Brahma and says, future mein aisa benediction kisi ko nahi dene ko mangta hai. He told him there. He really told him that in future, please don't give such benedictions to someone. So he counteracted his junior. What did he do? He corrected his junior. But he corrected him in such a way, in such a sensitive way, without making a fool out of Lord Brahma, without making a liar out of Lord Brahma. He handled the whole situation. Don't you think this is such a nice quality of a leader? So counteractions as a senior should continue our interactions. Not that this junior is a loser, we'll remove him. Null and void, whatever he has done. Like every party comes in the government, they completely remove all the laws passed by the previous party and then they do something. That is not a good counteraction. Another example I'll give you. The example of Ravana. He had a boon that only human beings and monkeys can kill him. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the form of a human being. You know that verse of the Shaavat Arastotram? Let us sing that. Today we are singing nicely, so let's sing. It's called as the Shaavat Arastotram by Jayadev Goswami. This is a very nice song which proves various aspects of Krishna consciousness, but Vitarasi Dikshurane Dikapati Kamaniyam Dasha Mukha Maulimbalim Ramaniyam Keshavadhrita Rama Sharira Keshavadhrita Rama Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Translation of this verse is, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the beautiful form of Ramachandra. All glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroy the 10-headed demon Ravana and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of 10 directions, headed by Indira. This action was long desired by all of them, who were much harassed by this monster. So, Lord Ram is also God, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he comes, at that time also he gave value to the words of Brahma. So he took help of monkeys and he as a human being killed Ravana. So this is the meaning of counteractions should continue interactions. Another attitude which a senior should have towards a junior is that a senior should have a patience to rectify repeatedly. We all know the pastime of Indra, that Govardhan Leela. According to Bhagavad Gita, one should not worship demigods. That is not what Krishna wants. If you have connection with the Prime Minister office, why do you want to go to the collector's office and give bribe there? So if you have connection with directly Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, why do you want to worship parts and parcels of Krishna? So therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that those who go to the demigods for asking something, their intelligence has been stolen away by material desires. In actuality, the demigods cannot give anything to anyone. It is only Krishna who gives through these demigods. If somebody wants good health and they are praying to sun, offering water, and because of that prayer, if they get good health, it is not the sun which is giving. Through the sun, Krishna is only giving. God is only giving. So therefore, Krishna says worship of demigods, thinking that they are the supreme, is avidhi purvakam. It is incorrect. Because the demigods are also going through the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death. Even Brahma will also die one day. So the benediction of Brahma, is it permanent? But benediction of Krishna, is it permanent? Yes. So Indra was artificially puffed up that he is the supreme. And from last 1000 years in Vrindavan, the worship of, not 1000, from last thousands of years, worship of Indra was going on, because Indra is responsible for rain. And rain is very important. What do you do? As professionally, what do you do?
Engineer.
Yeah, but what do you work upon? Software?
Yeah, sir.
When you are hungry, can you eat that software? You need roti, sabzi, and Tirupati laddu. Correct? That comes from rain. And there is a great science how to get rain. When you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. rain comes. Please understand, if you are in a great industry, you cannot eat the nuts and the bolts and the cars which you are producing. Your software will not save you when you are hungry. Rain is necessary. If rain is not there, no software will work. If rain doesn't come, imagine if it doesn't rain for 20 years from now. All software companies will close. Bangalore will close. Everything will be closed down. So Indra was puffed up that I am providing rain. I am the in charge of rain. And Krishna didn't like it. So he told the residents of Vrindavan, don't worship him. Instead, you worship Govardhan. Someday, if you people continue coming, I will tell you the Govardhan Lila pastime in detail. So Indra didn't like that idea, so he sent Samvartaka clouds. When the universe is about to be annihilated, so much rain comes that great planets also become submerged in it. Samvartaka clouds are those clouds which become active during annihilation. So Indra sent Samvartaka clouds, and Krishna protected Vrindavan by lifting the Govardhan. At that time, out of fear of Krishna, Indra came and apologized. Please forgive me. But his apology was not sincere, not honest, and not heartfelt. That is why, if you read the Krishna book, you will come to know that later on, when one of the wives of Krishna, Satyabhama, said that she wanted the Parijat tree in her garden, and when Krishna went to the heavenly planetary system, the capital of Indra is called Amravati. When he went there and he started to bring one Parijat tree, Indra again had a problem. Hey, how you can take? This cannot go to earth. These kind of trees cannot exist on earth. You know, these are heavenly beauties. These are heavenly pleasures. They should remain in heaven. Few years ago, he has begged forgiveness from Krishna, that please forgive me. Now again, he did an offense. Why? Because his apology was not heartfelt. So sometimes as a senior, you'll come across juniors who will not in a heartfelt way be able to take your corrections. So you have to be very patient with them and rectify them repeatedly, thinking that this is the first time you're rectifying them. At that time, Krishna didn't say, hey, when I was 7 years old, I taught you a lesson, no? Now come, my Sudarshan Chakra, I'll cut you and kill you. Krishna didn't do that. He again rectified him. So we have to be very, very patient. Every time when we offer some correction, we have to feel this is the first time I'm doing. Because if the person would have understood, you wouldn't have to rectify them again. And if somebody is honestly made a mistake and is honestly repenting, a senior should forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. So, if we do not allow our juniors to make mistakes, that means we are not giving them an environment to make mistakes and learn. When I was playing cricket, when I was a small child, I remember, I don't know how these things I remember, but it has come to my mind. I was around 8 years old and I was playing cricket. And I came late to the playground, so they were not letting me play. So I went, one of my school seniors, he was the captain. I said, please let me play. So he said, okay, come. And then my chance for bowling came. And the senior came and told me, if in your over more than 3 runs are scored, then you will not be able to play in my team for next 6 months. I felt it was very harsh. And after that, I could not perform also. So it is important as a senior to give the junior an environment where they feel free to make mistakes and learn. It is very, very important. And then as a senior, one should assist when needed. I'll tell you another pastime from the Vedic scriptures, the Samudramanthan Pastime. So this Bali was Bali Maharaj, the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, was killed by the demigod, beheaded. But the spiritual master of Bali, Shukracharya, was expert in the Sanjeevani Vidya, so he brought him back to life. And Bali was very grateful. And they performed some yajnas by the power of which he became so powerful that he could drive away the demigods from the heavenly planetary systems. At that time, these demigods, they are also devotees of Krishna, but they are not pure devotees of Krishna. They're mixed devotees. So they approached Krishna or Lord Vishnu and they said that we want our kingdom back, you help us. So at that time, Lord Vishnu says, my pure devotees, they don't talk like this. They just want to serve me. They don't want to serve me for some results. So then Lord Vishnu told, see, the time is not right. The demons are more powerful. So you cooperate with them. And then he gave a very nice lesson in politics. He said that, see, you are like a snake and the demons are like a mouse. And both of you are trapped in a net of enviousness and jealousy. Let the rat cut the net. And when the net is open, you eat the mouse and come out. This is a very deep statement which Lord Vishnu made actually. So what I'm trying to explain here is, Lord suggested them that you cooperate with the demons and do Samudramanthan. Suggestion he gave. But then he said that, okay, for doing the Samudramanthan, churning of the ocean, you need this mountain. So when the demigods went to lift that mountain, the mountain was so heavy that they started getting crushed under the mountain. So immediately Lord Vishnu came flying on the Garuda. With his left hand, he lifted the mountain, kept on Garuda and took to the center of the ocean. Now, when they were trying to place the mountain was not stable. What to do? So the Lord assumed the form of a great tortoise, Kachap avatar, and then came below the mountain. But still the mountain was not stable. So then he took another incarnation called Acyuta and he sat on the top of the mountain and made everything stable as a pivot. Then they called Vasuki to churn the ocean. But when the churning had started, the demigods were getting so tired. So the Lord, made the condition a little favorable by bringing in some showers of rains and making them feel good. So you see in the Samudramanthan, later on when Amrit came out, it was taken away by the demons. So he again took another avatar as Mohini avatar and helped the demigods get it. So neither the demons nor the demigods could do anything in that Samudramanthan. In every step, they needed the help of the Lord, and the Lord was helping. And the Lord was not boasting, just see, if I'm not there, you're useless. So he's assisting them in the time of the need and not boasting in front of them. This is the quality of a senior. Always be ready to assist. Always be ready to serve. Don't ask for credit. Don't boast. This is the quality of a leadership. And now too much we have talked about seniors. Now let's talk what should be the attitude of a junior. We are all juniors to someone. So the attitude of a sensible subordinate should be how? When the mature senior doesn't feel confident that the junior can take a correction, then the junior loses the opportunity to grow. For example, if your senior starts thinking that, okay, I have to offer this correction to him, but how he will feel? Maybe he'll not take it in the right way. Maybe his enthusiasm will get affected. Maybe I should not tell him. That correction, that feedback is 100% necessary for you. But your attitude or our attitude as a junior is that we are very defensive. Anybody says anything to us, we start defending us. How you can say this? You don't know. This is unfair. Then our seniors will be hesitant to give feedback to us. Do you agree? Whose loss it is? Our loss. So when a mature, sensible senior is hesitant to give feedback to us because of our defensive and arrogant attitude, it's a loss for us. So therefore, one of the greatest obstacles for success in life and also in spiritual life is false ego and arrogance. Until we remove that, we cannot actually make any advancement anywhere. We cannot understand the H of humility also. And the Bible says, only the meek and humble inherit the kingdom of God. That means only those who are humble, they can see God one day. Those who are arrogant, they will see death one day. And after that, they'll see hell one day. And after that, they'll see the hellhound in the hell one day. And then it will continue. And then they'll come to this Gita class. And then they'll see the Supreme Lord one day. So the point which I'm trying to say, that when somebody as a junior is humble and submissive in front of a senior, the senior takes full charge. I'll again explain to you with a practical example. There is a small baby, 5 months old, and there is a child, 5 years old. Let's say 10 years old. The 10-year-old child acts like independent. So the parents are not so much bothered about the 10-year-old child. But the 5-month-old baby is completely dependent, submissive, subservient, and humble in front of the parent. Agree? So the parent will constantly be focusing on the subservient, humble baby, helpless baby, dependent baby. So like that, we as juniors should do whatever is possible in our capacity. But then we should always be dependent, subservient, and humble in front of our seniors. Then the senior will feel that I have to protect this person. Then the Lord will feel I have to take care of him. If we start telling the Lord, okay, you do not interfere in my life, but you give me what I want, then that is not bhakti. But if you tell the Lord, my dear Lord, you are free to do whatever you want. I don't know what is best for me, but you know everything. So please give me whatever you feel suitable and protect me from my own mind, protect me from my own sinful life. Then God will take charge. And then great things will happen to us. So like that, we should have that attitude for our well-wishing seniors also. Now, this is not applicable everywhere. I'm talking about a spiritual circle. Even outside, the quality of humility is very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Today, only one person was telling me that how his appraisal went. Everybody in his team was like, give me more, give me more, give me more. But this fellow was like, whatever comes, I'll give my best. Whatever comes, I'm okay with it. So the manager was only asking, are you sure? Should I give you a little bit more? Are you sure? 3 times in the appraisal he asked. I'm not, this is today only is that devotee was telling me. So he was telling the man, you give whatever you feel is okay. But the manager has observed his humility, has observed his straightforwardness, has observed his discipline, righteousness, and etiquette, and ethics throughout the year. And he knows that he's a devotee of Krishna. So the manager, out of his own will, he was telling, should I give you more? Should I give you more? Should I give this appraisal meeting? But that's not the same with others. So humility as a quality is appreciated everywhere. But in spiritual life, it is appreciated more. And in spiritual life, when you become dependent on your seniors, they will help you. They'll protect you. They'll take care of you. So there is a very nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, chapter 1, shloka number 8. The sages at Naimisharanya are telling to Suta Goswami, who has dictated the Bhagavatam to them. The sages are saying, my dear Suta Goswami, because you are submissive to your spiritual masters, because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us what you have scientifically learned from them. So only when we become humble, so much so that the spiritual masters, the seniors, they feel that yes, I can tell him anything. He'll take it in the right spirit. Then we are fortunate. Krishna had no doubt whether Arjuna will be able to take my message or not. That's why he became the recipient of Bhagavad Gita. You and me did not become the recipient of Bhagavad Gita because both of us are RASCALS. That's all. Don't feel bad, but this is what we are. If God comes in front of us, we'll just take a selfie and then we'll say, "Baad mein milte hain." But Krishna was confident. Sa evayam mayate dya yoga proktah puratanaha bhakto si me sakhacheti rahasyam hietaduttamam. Because Arjuna was a bhakta si me sakhacheti, because he was a devotee of Krishna and because he was non-envious of Krishna and wanted to serve Krishna, therefore Krishna told him the Bhagavad Gita. So if we also want to understand the Bhagavad Gita, first we should become a devotee of Krishna. And then one should become non-envious of Krishna and one should have a friendly disposition with a desire to serve Krishna. Then we will understand Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, rahasyam. It will remain a rahasya for 10,000 lifetimes also. So this is called senior-junior relationship, guru-disciple relationship, master-servant relationship, etc., etc. So I would like to summarize the whole session now. Please listen each and every word very carefully. Seniors who are sensible respect the autonomy of grown-up juniors and allow them to grow without micromanaging or spoon-feeding them. One second. Such a senior tolerates the honest mistakes and, if necessary, gently corrects them with due credit, giving due credit to the good work they have performed. On the other hand, a sensible subordinate is willing to be corrected by an experienced superior without feeling offended. He feels fortunate to be guided and invites such corrections into his autonomy that help him to improve and render better services. When such sensitivity is maintained by both superiors and subordinates, whether the teacher and student, master or servant, employer or employee, God and devotee, their relationship becomes sweet and their interactions become nourishing without unnecessary tensions and insecurity. How many of you want to be in an environment which is free of tension and free of insecurity? Then you need to have such attitude as a junior, where you invite corrections from people and don't feel offended. And you need to have such attitude as a senior, where you respect the autonomy of the junior. Do not destroy the autonomy of a junior in front of everybody and break his enthusiasm. Rather, counteract in such a way that the further interactions is possible. So as a senior, we should be very, very sensitive, wait for the right time. And as a junior, we should always be hoping to receive corrections and we should be happy when we get them. Such an environment of senior-junior relationship leads to an environment which is free of tension, which is free of insecurity. I would like to again revisit the first shloka on which the entire class was based. Gunadhikam mudam lipsed anukrosham gunadhamat maitrim samanadan vichhen nataper abhibhuyate. When we meet someone who is more qualified than us, then what we should do? We should be pleased. We should be very happy. We should say thank you to Krishna. Thank you for getting such a person in my life. Please correct me. Please guide me. When we meet a person less qualified than us, then what we should do? We should feel compassionate. That I have to understand what is his situation. And I have to help him come up in life. I have made many mistakes in my life. I will not let him make those mistakes. But I will not crush his autonomy. I will not break his enthusiasm. I will encourage him. I will nurture him. And if I meet someone who is equal, then what I should do? Immediately become friends and spend more time together with each other. Try to learn from each other. A person who follows this does not suffer from the threefold miseries of this material world. Okay, so that was today's session. We would like to start a new practice that is called as the reflection practice. You can say that you can just try to reflect what is that one point which has touched your heart. which you would like to follow? This is life lessons from Vedic scriptures. What has touched your heart? What you would like to take away home? You can share once. If you share, you care. And if you care, you remember. So if you would like, you can share one point, which will serve as a revision also. Can you share one point?
Probably got to listen. Sometimes I feel whenever seniors are like, okay, do this tax and this tax, so sometimes I feel like overwhelmed. So this I need to take care of that. Okay, they are giving a guidance only, so I need to take that, keep that in mind.
Okay.
For me, yeah, in the workplace.
Everybody is going to workplace. Something from the class also, please.
No, actually, it's nowadays going on from last 6-7 months. Like I got my new manager, my ex-manager left. So this guy, he started complaining me every day. So I have lots of things like he's putting me more pressure, like giving me those tasks which you juniors used to do. So one day I took him outside, like one more devotee, like he is also devotee of Lord Krishna. He is in our HR. So before going to anyone, he's my good friend. So I went and asked him. He said, then I asked him I should go and talk to his manager. Then he said, instead of talking to your like department head, you should talk to your manager. I said, if you won't listen, no, at least tell him. So I kept his word and I went and tell to my manager, like going outside. I went outside, took him and I spoke to him. Then he said he has some other stuff. So he knows like my capability. I can work under pressure. That's why he's giving this much pressure to me. The guys who are working, like they are freshers, so they don't know that much. Yeah, like sometimes, like though that person, like that HR who is like devotee of Krishna, he helped me. Then after when I came, he said, "Did you get your solution?" I said, "Yes, I got my solution." Now, if you go and ask to your HOD, then he will think like before going to your own manager, you come to me. Then if I'm going to do mistake, you can go to MD. So that's why I told you to talk to your manager. Now everything is going good. This is
Basically, you are talking about humility as a principle and trying to give the benefit of doubt to a senior. Actually, the quality which you are talking about is one of the great qualities. Actually, I should have included it in my class also. Sometimes we expect our seniors to be perfect. If they are not perfect, I will not surrender to them. Who is perfect except God? Even in devotee association, we find that. Sometimes devotees, they say, what is this devotee? He does not have many good qualities. I only have more good qualities than that devotee. So, the best way to work cooperatively in this world, either in material or spiritual life, is to understand that the senior with which I'm working is not perfect, but he has some good qualities. I have to benefit from that, learn that. He may have many bad qualities, but I will try to overlook it and work with him and respect his good qualities and give him sometimes the benefit of doubt. Do not expect your seniors to be perfect. Seniors are also human beings. With this intention or with this understanding, if you work in cooperation, knowing that your seniors can make mistakes, but despite their mistakes, I will respect them, then life becomes simple. Something from the class and not from the workplace. Would someone like to share?
It's the part of humility that you have explained that as a junior we should be like we should be humble first of all, and I think during the lecture you also mentioned that we should be feel lucky that someone is correcting us and bringing some changes to us.
Yes.
So that is the point which is really important.
Yes. If somebody is correcting us, they are not our enemy. They are doing it for our well. They are doing it as a well-wish. One more thing I'll tell you, it is a deep secret. If you are trying to be sincere, if you are trying to follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita, you should not worry whether someone is exploiting you or taking advantage of you. Krishna will take care. Even if somebody has come with a desire to exploit you and take advantage of you, even if, just like Maharaj Yudhishthir, you see, he knew that if I will follow the instructions of Dhritarashtra, I'll have to go to the forest. But he still followed. And then what happened? Krishna protected him. So kindness always wins, obedience always attracts. Please repeat with me. Kindness always wins, obedience always attracts. So we have to learn from personalities like Yudhishthir Maharaj. He knew that what my seniors are telling me is not in my best favor, but he still followed it. And Krishna got attracted to that quality of Yudhishthir Maharaj and saved him. So even if you have someone who's there to exploit you, if you are living the life according to the principles of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will protect you. Don't worry. Do you like this point? Do you appreciate it?
Yes.
Can you share one point? Okay, think. We'll ask the next person. Can you share one point which you liked from the class, not necessarily from workplace? You have a question from the workplace. Okay, please go ahead.
Like my senior.
First, your name?
My name is
Saurav. Okay.
So my super senior of the senior. He's like good in his work, but he is very arrogant. But he always brag about himself. And I'm not able to digest that much of that. So how can I handle it?
The question is that one of his colleagues, who is in a superior position to him, brags too much and shows a lot of arrogance. How to deal with it? Based on today's class, will someone like to answer this question?
That person is not a senior to us. Senior as in if that person doesn't have the rights to correct us. So it's better to leave that person as it is. Because we don't have the right to correct that person.
So one suggestion comes is live with it. Live with it.
They can rap, so.
What is the other suggestion? Other solution? That is not a solution here.
That would contradiction to our points. Again and again
Counteract so that the interactions continue.
Yeah.
But he's a senior. How he can counteract? He can counteract you. You cannot counteract the senior. How to deal with it? Very loaded question. Arrogant senior.
When we won't get a few days, then we will like this.
We will just become indifferent, not reply to his emails, not listen to his chat. Then he'll become more arrogant. He'll come, he'll pound you, he'll take it just like rice is beaten, no? He'll beat you like that. He'll use his authority more on you. See, when Lord Narasimhadev had killed Hiranyakashipu, he was very angry. He was so angry that when he was breathing, the air which was coming out of his nostrils was spreading the clouds in the sky. He was so angry and roaring so angrily that the wives of various demons were having miscarriage because of it. He was so angry that the elephants were running away. Very, very angry. Nobody was able to approach him. When Narasimhadev, this pastime was happening, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Chandra, Varuna, Indra, Ganesha, everybody was standing there, but nobody was able to approach him. So the demigods, they went to Lakshmi and they said, he's so angry, pacify him. Lakshmi said, no, no, no. Even I can't go now. They sent Prahlad. Of course, we know Narasimhadev is God, but if a neutral person who doesn't know Narasimhadev is God, he is like a very arrogant, roaring, lion-like personality, right? But then Prahlad, with a lot of humility, he went, offered obeisances, and simply the humility of Prahlad touched the heart of Narasimhadev, and he kept his hand on the head of Prahlad, and Prahlad was in tears. Such a great moment, right? How many of you would like to feel the touch of Lord Narasimhadev on your head? Please raise your hand. Do you want to feel it?
Yes.
Do you want to feel it?
Yes.
The feeling which Prahlad had when Lord Narasimhadev was touching his head, the same feeling you can get when you sincerely, submissively, with a lot of love and affection, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Hare. The point which I'm trying to make is humility can melt an arrogant heart also. Arrogance cannot be counteracted by arrogance. Bragging cannot be counteracted by bragging. Bragging cannot be counteracting by buttering also. You just be yourself and try to follow what he is saying. Be professional, try to follow whatever he is saying, and you don't try to brag in front of him, and then you don't try to hurt his false ego. Be sensitive to him. And then over a period of time, he'll notice that he is not like others. A person becomes arrogant because of past experiences. A person becomes he brags so much because he's very insecure. But if in somebody's company, in somebody's association, one feels secure, one feels that he's ready to accept me the way I am, and one feels that he's not hurting my ego all the time. So therefore, I need not be arrogant in front of him because he himself is a nice person. That is the way you can defeat anybody's arrogance and anybody's bragging nature. So only humility can counteract that. Only guided, professional, kind nature can counteract that. There is no other way. You cannot try to outwit him, or you cannot try to outpower him, to silence him, no. But if you treat him with kindness, with respect, sooner or later he'll realize and he'll become kind towards you. Do you follow? Do you think this is the way to do? Do you think there is any other way to do? Hare Krishna. Okay, one last reflection we will take and we will conclude today's session. Would you like to say something? No? Something what did you like in today's class?
Respect to your seniors.
Correct. Respectful. Always be respectful. Can you share one point, last point? Something which you liked in the class?
How can we find a guru?
Question, how do you find a guru? Good guru. Actually, there is no such thing as good guru, sadguru, bad guru. If somebody is bad, he cannot become a guru. So what is the qualification of a guru? It's a very long subject matter, deep subject matter. Out of syllabus now, but I'll tell you in brief. Evam param para praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta param tapa. Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, shloka number 1 and 2. If you read, you'll get the understanding of who can be a guru. First of all, a guru should come in a chain of disciplic succession. He should be a part of some Guru Shishya Parampara. If somebody comes up and says that I am Guru, I have never read the Bhagavad Gita, I have never read any scriptures, but whatever I say, you have to hear. I have never read any scriptures. There is one good guru like that in the market on YouTube. He says, I have never read any scriptures. But whatever I write, you have to read. Is it fair? He's saying, I have never read the Bhagavad Gita, but when I write a book, you follow it line by line. I have never served my spiritual master, but you should serve me. Is it fair? So the first qualification of a guru is that he should have served his spiritual master, and his spiritual master should have served his spiritual master, and his spiritual master should have served his spiritual master. Like that, that line of Guru Shishya Parampara should be connected to Krishna. So if you want to select a guru, first find out in which Guru Parampara or Guru Shishya Parampara do they belong to. If they say, no, I became a guru after some incident in my life. Let's say, example, my wife died, and after that I became a guru. That's not guru. So first he should be in the part of a parampara. Second qualification of a guru is Shrotriyam Brahmanishthim. He should have heard very nicely from his spiritual master, and he should be a devotee of God. He should be a devotee of Krishna. What is the difference between Shukracharya and Bali Maharaj, all of us know that he disobeyed Shukracharya. Shukracharya was telling, Vaman Dev has come. You don't give him 3 steps of land. What did Bali Maharaj do? He disobeyed Shukracharya. And he took shelter of Hari or Vaman Dev. Why? Because his guru was not a devotee of Krishna. That's why Shukracharya is not considered as an ideal teacher. So one who is not a devotee of Krishna cannot be a guru. I can give you so many examples. Another qualification of a guru is Nectar of Instruction, shloka number 1. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yuvishahet dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sashishya. One who has controlled the urge to speak. That means one who speaks only from the scriptures and does not speak just like that. One who has controlled the urge to speak, the mind's urges of the mind. That means by the process of chanting Hare Krishna, he has controlled his mind. Mind can be controlled only when you use it in Krishna's service. Otherwise, idle mind is a devil's canteen. Correct? What? Workshop. Okay. Same thing. Krodha Vegam, one who has controlled his anger. Can anger be controlled? No. Even Hanuman became angry one day and burnt the whole Lanka. So anger has to be channelized and used in the service of the Lord. If somebody provokes you, you tolerate. If somebody insults you, you tolerate. But if somebody insults Krishna or some devotee of Krishna, you become as angry as Hanuman and burn the Lanka. That is called controlling of anger. Jihva udaropastha vegam, one who has controlled the tongue. That means he is eating only Krishna Prasad and nothing else. And because the tongue is controlled, so the belly is controlled and the genitals are controlled. Sarvam apimam prithvim sashishya. So one who has done these 6 kind of controls, he is qualified to travel all over the world and make disciples. I'll repeat once more. One who has controlled the urge to speak. One who has controlled the urges of the mind. One who has controlled the demands of anger. And one who has controlled the urge of the tongue, belly and genitals is qualified to travel all over the world and make disciples. Now this qualification comes automatically, even without trying, in all those people who sincerely and with love and affection chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. If you sincerely chant every day at least 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and if you read 3 or 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, then I can guarantee you that all of you will become gurus one day. All of you, you can stay wherever you are, do whatever you can do, whatever you are doing. Sthane sthita. But in your position, you will become a highly spiritual, elevated personality, like Brahma or like Krishna. Do you want to become gurus? Then you have to chant Hare Krishna, eat Krishna Prasadam, regularly come to these sessions, bring your friends to these sessions, and read the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So the culmination of today's class is chanting. We want all of you to regularly chant. If you come to these classes for the next 10 years, but if you don't chant, my life as a teacher is a failure. But if you can start this chant, do we take some money from you for these classes? No? Huh? That is initial registration. Because in India, if you say come, nobody comes. So just to differentiate the serious and the non-serious people, we take a dakshina amount. The amount which you gave, the 1 plate prasadam which we give you, compare. And we give it to you every session. And the kind of knowledge and the atmosphere which you are getting, it is priceless. Can you get that anywhere? Even in a movie theater with 500 rupees packet of popcorn and 700 rupees ticket, you'll not get this environment. So we don't charge you for this. But the only salary which I as a teacher, I ask all of you is chant Hare Krishna. That is my salary. Do you want me to give me some dakshina? Chant Hare Krishna. I don't want anything else from anybody. I do not want anything from anybody. The only thing which I want is please chant Hare Krishna. I want all of you to do 4 things. A, B, C, D. What do you want? What do I want? A for association. Come regularly to these classes. B for Bhagavad Gita. Everybody should have a copy of Bhagavad Gita and read 1 page, 2 page daily. If you can reach 20 pages, it's good. Minimum, I'm saying. C for chanting. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 1 or 2 rounds every day. Take Japmala from us and chant every day. Do it as a sadhana. Tapasya. And D, diet. Have a Krishna conscious diet. We encourage all of you to enroll in our Prasadam program. We have a Prasadam program here. Now you can take Prasadam 3 times from us here. You can come have breakfast, pack your lunch, go to office, come back again, come here, have your dinner. And in that way, we can serve you nice Krishna Prasadam, which is offered to Krishna, free from horrible contaminations, free from onion and garlic, and very good in taste. Association, Bhagavad Gita, chanting, and diet. If you follow these 4 things, your life will be successful. Okay? So, this is my Dakshina. Do this ABCD. Please distribute the Jap Malas. We'll chant 1 round and we'll end today's session. Okay? We'll take it later during Prasadam. So, for those who are online, thank you very much for joining. We'll chant 1 round now. If you want to continue, you can be with us, chant sometime. And then after that, of course, those who are online, you will never get Prasadam. For that, you have to come here. So please come here and have Prasadam with us. And for those who are here, we'll chant 1 round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So our volunteers should carefully observe the students here and teach them how to chant. If you want, you can take this Japmala home. And it's not for free. Some Dakshina you can give. Now, anything free is not valued. This is my principle. So you can take this Japmala home, chant regularly on it. Mondays and Fridays, all of you are welcome to come here, sit with us and chant. You can come on any day, but Mondays and Fridays, I'm also here. So I would like to get your association. You can come whenever in the morning you come, you get your time, you come here, sit, chant, talk to people, discuss, have some prasadam, enroll in the prasadam if you want. So holding the head bead, you hold the head bead like this. You don't use your index finger. You hold the head bead and you say this Panchatattva mantra. Please, can we distribute a little faster? Please help. Those who are free, please help fast. Next time we should try to make these arrangements earlier only, huh? Because every session ends with chanting. Okay, repeat with me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So hold the head bead, don't use your index finger, keep it out like this. And then go to the next bead and say, on the next bead, you have to say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And go to the next bead and say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Like that, when you go from the first bead till the 108th bead, there are 108 beads in this mala. Then you can say, I've done 1 mala. It takes 7 minutes to chant 1 round. So if you do 2 rounds, it will take 15 minutes. Now the question is, do you have 15 minutes for God? What's your name? Naam note down karo. 15 minutes bola hai, dega har din. 2 mala. Just joking. Now I'm just asking, see, people have time for so many bad habits, but they don't have time for God. Who loves you more than God? Don't say my girlfriend. She'll make you cry one day. Who loves you more than God? God is one. I'll explain this in a future session. There is only one God. There are no multiple gods. Ishvara Paramaha. Little bit have faith in me. I'll explain in future session. But for now, understand that God is Krishna. And there is only one God. One answer came, mother loves us more than God. Who was your mother in your previous life? Did she love you more, or the mother in this life loves you more? When you were in the body of a, let's say, you may have become a rabbit or a pig in some lifetime. When you were in the body of a rabbit, at that time this mother was there? God was there as Paramatma in your heart. When I became a pig and I was eating stool, at that time God was still there in my heart as Paramatma. When I became a demigod, God was there with me as Paramatma. When I became a coronavirus, God was there with me as Paramatma. Who loves me more than God? God's love is unconditional. Do you think sometimes mothers put some condition? God never puts any condition. When Dhruv Maharaj had gone to his mother Suniti, how to respond effectively? Session number 1, those who attended. Suniti, the mother of Dhruv Maharaj, told that I am just your mother. But the love of God is compared to millions and billions of mothers put together. That is God. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva. God is everything. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. Okay, let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare.